Good evening and welcome to BBC Newsline. The DUP leader has said her party will never accept an Irish Language Act. At an event in Lurgan, Arlene Foster suggested there should be a Polish Language Act instead, because more people in Northern Ireland speak Polish than Irish. And referring to Sinn Féin demands, she said if you feed a crocodile, it will keep coming back for more. Our political correspondent Gareth Gordon reports.
Brownlow House is sometimes known as the biggest orange hall in the world. Today it was the DUP's Assembly election candidates on parade. One of the issues up for negotiation after the poll is likely to be Sinn Féin's demand for an Irish Language Act. Today the DUP leader ruled it out.
If we have an Irish Language Act, maybe we should have a Polish Language Act as well, because there are more people in Northern Ireland that speak Polish than speak Irish. So, this characterisation of we should have given something to Sinn Féin to keep them appeased is not the way I do business. If you feed a crocodile, they're going to keep coming back and looking for more.
A hard line, which may set the tone for the whole election. Arlene Foster promised a brutal election campaign, and it appears that's exactly what we've got. Not that Sinn Féin, at their own event in Belfast, were playing along.
Not interested in the negativity.
See you later, alligator.
A snappy answer, but not everyone is laughing.
I don't think remarks of this kind of tone and tenor are appropriate or befitting of someone who is going to the electorate to seek to be a leader of the entire community, and that's what the First Minister's job is. Mrs
Foster chooses her own language. Some of it has been brutal, some of it, to my mind, has been provocative in terms of renegades and rogues when she refers to nationalists and Republican ministers in the executive. It's not going to be my language.
Mike Nesbitt is currently building a political relationship with this man.
I want to make it clear today that no amount of criticism will change that commitment. I will stick by it and I will stand by it. We will cooperate, we will compromise, and if given the opportunity, we will share power.
Sharing power, of course, is not easy and may just have got more difficult. Gareth Gordon, BBC Newsline.
The mother of a man who died after leaving a mental health ward at the Ulster Hospital has told his inquest she believes he might have lived if her family could have helped in the search for him. 22-year-old James Fenton left the hospital a few hours after agreeing to be admitted in July 2010. His body was found in the grounds 10 weeks later. Will Leach reports.
James Fenton was 22 years old. His family last saw him admitted safely to hospital, but for almost 7 years, no one's been able to tell them how he died. By the summer of 2010, James had been having mental health problems for around 18 months, including thoughts of taking his own life. In July of that year, he agreed to be admitted to the mental health ward at the Ulster Hospital, to the immense relief of his mother Janice, who thought he'd now get the help he needed. But a few hours later, whilst in a smoking area attached to the ward outside, James Fenton scaled a locked gate and left. The court heard today that other patients had done so before, 8 times in the previous year.
The initial searches organised by hospital security and the police failed to find him. His mother told the inquest he might have lived if the family had been able to help in those searches. As she told the coroner, maybe we could have saved James.
It was thought he might have gone to stay with friends, but in the end, James wasn't found for another 10 weeks. His body was still in the hospital grounds. In 2013, the police ombudsman issued a critical report into the search for Mr Fenton, and 12 PSNI officers were disciplined. In court, Janice Fenton, seen here in the middle, refused to agree with a barrister for the PSNI that the initial police search had been thorough. She told him, "All I know is that nobody should lie for 10 weeks out in the open. An animal wouldn't lie that long."
Janice Fenton repeatedly told the inquest that once James was admitted to the mental health ward at the Ulster, she believed he would now be safe and that he wouldn't be permitted to leave without the family being informed first. The inquest is expected to continue until Friday. Will Leach, BBC Newsline at Belfast Coroner's Court.
A County Down man has been given a 5-month jail sentence after being found with images of child abuse that included a 2-hour video showing children as young as 2 being abused. 40-year-old Timothy Bates of Bayview Road in Bangor had more than 100 indecent images. He was also placed on the sex offenders register for 7 years. A dissident Republican caught with explosives and detonators has been jailed for 7 years. The Special Criminal Court heard that 53-year-old Patrick Brennan from Clondalkin in Dublin had enough to make up 8 car bombs. Detectives caught him in June last year on the Dublin to Londonderry bus with 4 400-gram blocks of high-grade explosives and 3 electric explosive detonators in a canvas bag on the seat beside him. A woman in her 60s has died following a fire at her home in West Belfast yesterday. As Aileen Moyna reports, the fire service say it was accidental.
The fire broke out in a top-floor flat of this sheltered housing complex just before 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Ardnaclowney House is made up of 35 apartments for people aged over 60. A woman in her 60s suffered severe burns and was taken to hospital for treatment but died yesterday evening. 3 other residents were treated for smoke inhalation at the scene. The fire service say the blaze was accidental and was discovered in the kitchen of the upstairs flat. They had been alerted about the fire by an automatic alarm at the complex. Fire investigation officers arrived at the scene this morning to continue their inquiries. At this stage, the woman's name hasn't been made public. Aileen Moyna, BBC Newsline, West Belfast.
Boxer Carl Frampton was back in his home city tonight. It was his first public appearance since that defeat in Las Vegas. But as Louise Cullen reports, he's still #1 for the fans.
The chill in the air did little to put off the hordes of Carl Frampton fans who turned out this evening.
He inspired me to start boxing.
How long have you been boxing?
About a year.
And how good are you?
Good.
Good enough to take on Carl?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't come around Belfast a lot, and when he comes back here, it's just everyone, as you can see, there's a big massive queue.
And the boxer was delighted with his welcome.
I didn't know what to expect and what the turnout was going to be like, and what people were going to be saying, but everyone was nice, very friendly, shaking my hands and wishing me luck and hoping that I get him back again. So I hope I can get him back too. Winning back my world titles at Windsor would be a dream come true.
Wherever the fight, he'll always be a winner on his home turf. Louise Cullen, BBC Newsline, Belfast.
OK, let's see how the weather's shaping up for tomorrow. Cecilia has all the details.
Hello, good evening. Well, it hasn't been a very nice start to the week. Thankfully, the worst of today's wet and windy weather has moved on, so winds will continue to ease. There will be a few showers around, mainly across parts of the west. And as temperatures fall to just 1 or 2 degrees, there is most definitely a risk of ice on untreated roads, both later tonight and first thing tomorrow. So a chilly start to Tuesday, but a much brighter, drier day to come, and certainly a more cheerful day to look at. Now, first thing, most places will be dry but cold with the risk of some icy patches around. A couple of showers are likely in the west, but otherwise there'll be a lot of dry weather to come across the Republic of Ireland too. And there'll be icy stretches across parts of Scotland tomorrow morning. Otherwise, the main area of rain is moving out into the North Sea. So some sunshine coming through, a few wintry showers around, a cluster of showers there moving into parts of Wales as well. So tomorrow afternoon, temperatures very similar to today, but with much lighter winds, most places dry, a lot of bright weather around and some sunshine. It will definitely feel and look a lot better. Tomorrow night, again, could be cold with some frost and ice around, but we're not expecting too much in the way of rain during the rest of the working week. There will be a cold wind developing Thursday onwards, and that will mean frost is more patchy as the week goes on. Although Wednesday could start off with a widespread frost, lots of dry weather around, some sunshine and temperatures more or less where they should be for this time of year. Staying dry but turning cloudier and breezier.
That is it for tonight from us. Our next BBC Newsline bulletin is at 6:25 in the morning. Good night.